Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chase.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Time for
Fuck this place!
Right. I don't know what I would. But it's like, bruh, have you ever been in the world? It sucks dick. That's what the thing that bothers me the most in all of customer service dumb, because I think this falls under this category, is people who believe that reality can bend. you know, like it's like fundamental. Like, oh,
you mean like Iron Man?
The Flash.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Yeah, and it's like for Elon Musk, maybe it does because he's so rich. Right?
Yeah.
But like, we're meeting in Tarzana, man. You know?
Oh, this was not at the San Diego Zoo. I thought this was all going on at the zoo.
No, that'd be so great if it was going on at the zoo.
So just hanging out at the zoo and you're just like screaming at your insurance company. And you're like in one of those like cutouts where families take pictures, you know?
Yeah. I'm like, a giraffe, like next. I'm standing on a stool or like a little like wooden staircase to stand on this giraffe. It's like 6 feet up.
Yeah.
And like my kid and my wife are down below as like a panda holding another panda.
Yeah. And they're just trying to smile, but
and I'm on the phone like, you don't know the reality doesn't bend for anyone.
Yeah. Oh, dude, being a dad rules.
Anyway, more license to scream a little bit, just a little more license.
Chase's debut album, License to Scream.
Oh man, we should just start the podcast. Welcome to Fuck This Place, the podcast about jobs with Chase and Nick. And my name is Chase, by the way.
My name is Nick, by the way, and that's all.
That's it.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
We're back. Sorry we missed a week. I don't know. Is this the one going to come out? It's going to come. This is
yeah.
Sorry I missed a week. Life happens. I was stranded on top of a giraffe. Just screaming.
Yeah, Chase has just been screaming at the top of his lungs at anyone in his peripheral view.
Especially because now someone kicked the stairs out from under the giraffe thing. I'm stuck up there.
Yeah. Just I'm doing this skinny podcast, legs just dangling.
I'm doing this podcast from my face planted inside of a 6 foot tall giraffe caricature.
Sheer dedication.
I did go to the San Diego Zoo, and it was my first experience at the San Diego Zoo, or really any zoo in quite some time.
Okay.
And I was surprised to find, speaking of surprise, that they had like caricature artists.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I thought that was more of like a mall thing. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Or maybe like a Six Flags thing.
Yeah, a very, very, very lame festival.
Yeah, absolutely. But
high school rally.
Yeah, very more of a lowercase c carnival, kind of like the what was it, Kyle Rio? We had the episode where there's a parking lot, like a mall parking lot. I would definitely expect caricature artists,
right? Sort
of unlicensed, like drawing pictures, like, oh, it's you as Batman or whatever, but like the logo looks a little weird.
A little wonky. Yeah. Or then they're right next to like the one who like the face painting booth, and they just all the face painting booth is they just paint like a fucking weak ass little butterfly in your cheek or whatever.
Yeah, they had those too. They had face painting, but I will say the face painting, I saw one or two kids that had their faces, and that kid looked like a fucking lion, Like
oh, really? Oh, that's
doing
cool.
Pretty good. They had
it fucking ruled. One guy, he was Two-Face from Batman, full on, just burned face,
just burnt like prosthetics or something. They were really good. One guy just looked like Joe Biden. He just he was just an old man, but he was a kid. He was 9 years old. Yeah,
they like thinned his hair. It was crazy.
Yeah, he was stuttering his words. It was nuts. So we're back. Thank you for your, I would say patience, but honestly, maybe you weren't patient. I don't know.
You might have been hell mad.
Yeah, you might be starting this podcast pissed. Like, you better get to these Craigslist posts. You goddamn motherfuckers, don't waste 10 minutes of banter up top. Well, too bad, pal.
Yeah, that's what we do. So you had a good time at the zoo though?
I had a great time at the zoo.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm a major curmudgeon in all things, in most things.
Yeah.
Like if somebody says, "Hey, you want to go to the zoo?" No, I don't want to go to the fucking zoo. Not at all. Why would I?
Yeah.
What could possibly be at the zoo? But then I get there and I'm like, "Holy shit, grizzly bears are huge!" So I mean, it's a good time. I feel bad for pretty much everybody there, including the people,
right?
Because we went with my kiddo and he's like super young, and there's a bunch of other people that had not super young kids. You can't, babies, you can just, well, you're coming this way, pal,
Yeah.
But like, toddlers and stuff, San Diego Zoo, full of them.
Oh, really?
And they're having a tough time around between 1 and 3 p.m.
Oh, I bet.
I think that's kind of like kid witching hour,
Yeah.
I mean, it's people witching hour too.
Right. Yeah. I try to take a nap. Try to take a nap at some point in that time, because I try to avoid the world for those hours.
I think there's a reason that certain cultures, like, isn't like in Spain and shit, they have like a late lunch, which is in the 1 o'clock zone. I'm making this up, but as far as timing goes, but I know they have like
in España, like they have the late lunch.
I think you mean España, yeah.
España.
You got to get that in there. But they have a nap culturally, and I think there's other countries that do that as well.
Italy, I think, does.
Here's a fun question, and the answer is no, but it's a fun question. If and when, well, definitely when the warm parts of the United States get hotter, do you think that we're going to get to a point where it's like mandatory siesta, folks? You know what I mean? Like it's a good strategy if you're in an actual hot place, like a genuinely hot place. Like Spain is not in all places hot, but there's some very warm spots in Spain. Maybe that's one of the reasons they adopted it.
Yeah. I think you're right with the no. I don't think we'll ever, I think that if it ever got like, you're talking about like global warming, you're saying like it just got so hot here. Yeah. Like, I think, I think that would be something that would be proposed, and then the pushback would be like, no, we don't believe in temperature.
Yeah. So, no. The pushback is going to be, but that would mean people would stop working for any amount of time at all. And in which case, no, and fuck you for asking. And well, a quick question: what are you up to right now? Should you be back? Should you be at work right now? We don't need to work at a Starbucks.
Yeah, we don't want any time for the skin to grow back on our employees' fingers. Okay, we gotta
get things moving. Honestly, Bone is a little bit better at closing all of those lids.
Right. Yeah. So that would be tight though. Mandatory naps. I don't.
Nice. I remember way before the pandemic, I was working at a YMCA for a month, and
oh, dude, that's the dream.
It was all right because I got the friends and family rate for membership or something like that after I left for like a year, but I didn't go after like 9 months.
Where were you in Asheville?
In Asheville, I feel
like I've been to that one.
The one downtown. Yeah.
I've been to that one. It's nice.
I was at the front desk, and there was, there's personal trainers and stuff. And I just remember one day, this personal trainer comes out, he's like sipping on his like green drink, whatever the fuck. And he says real sad, like he just, like he just kind of looks up, and like, I know for a fact, I think that guy was like a young dad or whatever. And, just going through a full day. And he's like, I think the head trainer of all the personal trainers.
Okay.
And he's just kind of like leaning on the desk, cause like a big standing desk when, like people come in, and he's like, I think it'd be pretty nice if like, just like, I don't know, every now and then the president would just call everybody and be like, all right, time to go home. Everybody go home. Today's been okay. Just randomly. He's like, it can't be a holiday. You can't plan for it. It's got to be just a big universal. And that's kind of what the pandemic was for for some people for a long time, for some people just about 2 weeks.
Right.
But somebody said everybody go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey Chase, this is the president.
Hey man, can everybody just go home?
Yeah. I feel like you seems like you're a little cranky. Maybe maybe it's time.
It's 1 o'clock. We're kind of entering the toddler / person witching hour. Maybe you should just go home.
I'm gonna take a nap underneath the desk here. So
I got my finger right on the nuclear button just in case we need it,
Yeah, I've been nodding off. I almost hit it twice. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking.
So I just figure everybody else might be doing the same thing. Please. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Please just go home and tell everybody else if you don't mind, because I am about to sleep. So I can't be going telling the whole nation or whatever, but that'd be neat. Anyway, I think about that guy. I've thought about that guy since the pandemic started. I was like,
it is weird. Little stuff like that
day.
Yeah. Little stuff like that sticks with you. Little stuff like, because in your head, you're like, bro, what the fuck?
It was the darkness in his eyes. His eyes didn't look super duper tired, like he wasn't like, oh, I'm exhausted. It was just like, I'm done,
Yeah. Well, I think it tells a deeper story of a man who needs basically a god to come in and stop this. Right?
Yeah, I need deliverance.
I need
don't need
someone,
rest. I need salvation.
Exactly. I need basically someone I feel to be infallible to like come in and tell me that I've done enough and to go home. Because I can't bring myself to tell myself that I've done enough. I
can't do it for myself. And even if possibly even if I wanted to, I'm incapable. I don't have enough power in the positions I occupy to make that call.
Yeah. And nor do I know who does, but I know that the president probably can boss most people around.
Probably does. Yeah.
So that's how he went up and he said that was the safest place he could find was the president of the United States.
Yeah.
That was the one person.
Well, and when little does he know that only, let's just say 51% of the country would listen to him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in that moment, he was. Mm-hmm. He would just need to be like, hey, I gotta go. The president.
I need dad so bad right now.
Yeah. You know,
so. I need government dad. I need him to tell me I'm good and that I played T-ball long enough, and I can go just sit down and chew some big league chew.
We'll get a Slurpee later.
Yeah. I can get a suicide. You know, it's no big deal. No, and maybe even some wet cheese on top of some fries or some nachos. You know, I'm talking about that wet cheese.
Yeah, wet cheese and chips. You know,
it's not melted cheese. It's not the concessionaire's cheese. That's wet cheese.
Right. Yeah. That's like it is kind of wet. It's like if you melted a yellow crayon. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you could call it waxy cheese if that's what you wanted. Melted waxy cheese.
It's just like sitting on top of the chips. It's not really, it's not becoming a new thing with them. You know?
No. It doesn't really absorb. It just sort of, it's like if you,
it's fun. Like bunk beds are fun. You know?
Yeah. Cause one's on top of the other.
Yeah. And it's like,
the two shall meet. Yeah.
And then you take a bite and you're like, oh, this is fine. This is
kind of like
bed I sleep
in a food parallel. You ever taken, I did this Oreo and dipped it into like a snack pack pudding. You think it's going to blow your fucking mind because you're like, oh, Oreo and milk. But again, the snack pack the pudding's just right on top. It does not blend in any way. And even as you chew it, it's not like the two come together.
Right. You ever put like two different spiders in a jar and try to make them fight when you were a kid?
Yeah. And they become friends.
You're like, this is going to be epic. And then they just don't even bother each other. And you're like,
they've never even noticed.
I'll just let you back out then. And and then it's like, then you realize that like, you're the bastard. Like you're the only villain. Like I remember like doing that. And then as a kid and then letting the spiders go and just being like, they're better than me. You know?
I thought I was going to be, like the watcher of all of darkness,
Yeah. You fight for me like in the Coliseum. You're gonna fight for me. And they were like, no, sir, we will not fight. We'll die before we fight for you. And I was like, all right, I'm sorry. That's fine. Okay.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, all right, sorry.
Yeah.
Let you back and lift up that giant ass rock again, put you back under it. Or whatever.
Yeah. You deserve to be under that rock, spider. So that's what nacho cheese is like.
That is a lot like what nacho cheese is like.
Just as a rule of thumb. So we have a few things on the old docket. The FTP fuck this place docket. We've got some posts from the vault. We've got some things from Reddit that Chase has found. Oh, before we get into that, we had an ultra quick write in, not even gonna read the whole thing. But our dear old friend Andrew from TaskRabbit. Remember?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yes.
Yeah. Doing all right, BT dubs. But basically it was just like, hey, I don't know if you know this, because they start I think Andrew went on a bit of a Google spree after we went through the zombie music situation with Kyle. This is the last episode.
Kyle. Yeah.
And Andrew said, he's like, hey, just by the way, I want you to know that the lead singer of this band's name is Sinister Carmichael. And I just wanted everyone to know that.
Wow.
Sinister Carmichael, which is an incredible name, to combine sort of evil with almost like a dork's name.
Yeah.
It's like I'm Evil Ted.
Yeah.
Or like I'm like, oh shit, what's another like
Hateful Ronnie.
Hateful Ronnie. Yeah, right. Yeah. But although like Ronnie and Ted, they're kind of like blue collar guys. I feel like Carmichael's more of like an accountant,
Okay.
But either way, I think that
old racist Eugene.
Yeah. There we go. So anyways, anyway, so Andrew, I'm glad you went on a YouTube adventure on our account.
Yeah,
and Google
appreciate
adventure.
You, Andrew.
Thanks so much for writing in. Shout out. If you want to write in.
It's also kind of funny that like Andrew heard us kind of going back and forth, and he was like, I work for TaskRabbit. You know what? I'm going to go on a task.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, Andrew, your situation could have changed. So you can give us an update if you want.
No, that'd be nice.
Yeah, but he did not mention if he was still TaskRabbiting. He just said, I'm TaskRabbit Andrew. And I was like, oh, I know who we're talking to. It was the TaskRabbit Andrew. They played Eminem while he was building.
Oh, that's right.
like the Marshall Mathers LP.
Yeah.
While he was just building like a fucking cabinet and like, and the dude just sat on the couch. And I didn't know that people did that with TaskRabbit. I think we covered this then, but that like you would just summon somebody. I have this thing where like, and I was talking about this with my wife the other day, where like, if I'm in the same room with someone working, you can't sit down and not work.
Right.
Unless you've had some kind of like clear discussion about it. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a kitchen, maybe, okay, kitchen might be one exception where someone's in the kitchen, you like pop up on the counter and, pop a little Oreo in the mouthski, fine. But like if you're in the living room, someone's folding laundry or vacuuming or whatever, like you cannot just fucking sit there.
Right.
With no comment whatsoever. You can say like, hey, look, I'm not joining you. You can say that, but you have to make it clear. Like I'm not helping.
The only way you can sit there is if you are also fuming, Like I've seen my dad be super mad while my mom is cleaning or vice versa.
Oh, sure. Just pissed that they are doing it. Yeah.
Just begrudgingly lifting up their feet when someone needs
and you're doing someone a favor by saying nothing, and you're doing yourself a big favor by not getting into a fight. Fine. But like, as far as TaskRabbit goes, it's like, you have to leave the room or
stand and watch. I feel like, like the dad move is to stand and watch any repairman.
Yeah. Which is also not good,
No, it's not. There's got to be an upcharge for that. There's like, also I had to deal with,
if I have to make conversation with you. Yeah. If you're an electrician who has to like talk about how the job is going.
Yeah.
Like, you got a lot of clients. Are you busy lately? Oh yeah. Is that a hex a key?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So anyway, good stuff.
It's like, hey, I found a cross made out of bone here underneath your laundry room. Dad's like, yeah, you'll find those. Just like,
yeah. I put those for all the guys. Whittle them myself. So anyway, we got posts. Let's just jump into the old vault posts. So post number 1 is titled "Wanted." Old man to help old man.
Wow. Why do you write it like it was a yearbook post?
Yeah, that should be clear. When I said 2, I meant the number 2. Want a man to help old man. It does feel like like a yearbook sign of like Chase the clown came to town to sign your yearbook upside down. Wanted old man to help old man. What's up?
I was like, it's wild. Do you think he needs help adding any capitals to any of the words he's going to use in this?
Well, that's what it does feel. It could be hastily typed. So the post begins, not a single picture, which is probably a good thing. And it says yard work.
I don't need proof you're old. All right.
We trust you, pal. And like, I know age ain't nothing but a number, but like, if you say you're an old man, I'd absolutely believe you.
Right.
Yard work, general help around house, ! Other things, ... Please no drunks. Need a good friend to help me with chores, cleanup, 70 years old, still like people, like for you to be same age, works better. If you are younger, no. That's about, and then it says compensation, DOE, depending on experience, $15 an hour is possible. POSSABLE.
Possible.
And that's the post. And I feel as though we got jerked in several directions in this perfectly fine run on sentence.
Right.
Number one, we start, okay, like yard work, general help around the house. Okay, fine. Like same. Normal. And then it says other things, ... which is like, okay, sex post. Right. Like you literally, if the post ended there, sex post, guaranteed. Right. And then it 100%. Says, please no drunks. And it's like, well, listen, bud. I mean, if this is sex thing, you're telling me I can't have a couple of cocktails.
Can't a little whiskey, a little double whiskey over
Can't
rice.
get a little loose before we have a little fun.
A little martini before we start taking off all of our weird clothes.
Yeah. All of our weird, like fucking garter belts
khaki shorts.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeans with like a sharp crease in the front.
Super long socks that are all bunched up down at the bottom.
Yeah. They're so long, but they're also bunched.
Yeah.
Like if they were unbunched, they would go all the way above the knee.
Right.
But in this case, they go mid shin bunched up.
Right. 100%.
Shorts, if they're wearing shorts that are basically pants, New Balances for sure. Anyway, so that's like, okay, so then maybe this isn't a sex thing, and you just said other things as in like not yard work, you know what I mean? Just other things. Need a good friend. Again, are we back on the sex thing? Need a good friend to help me with chores, clean up, 70 years old. This 70 years old, still like people like you I don't know how to read 70 years old, still like people. Like I still like people.
I think that's what he's saying. He said, okay, need a good friend to help me with chores, clean up. I am 70 years old and I still like people.
Which is a victory.
Yeah. I'd like for you to also still like people. Maybe it's like, don't show up being a fucking curmudgeon, a fucking piece of shit.
But it says like for you to be same and then age works better, right? So I think this is its own little clause here. It's like for you to be same age works better. But I do think still like people is a very it's a pivotal phrase, and I do think it's a victory if you're 7 years old and you still like people. Like, listen, buddy, I'm in the old mid-30s. I cannot guarantee that if someone pointed to me on the street and said still like people, I'd say no. Right away. But if someone asked me, hey, do you still like people, I would hesitate before saying yes. I would probably eventually say yes, but I would have follow-up questions. So I think that's cool. If you're, still like people, that's good. Again, is that a sex thing? Maybe not. And then it says, and then the final closer, if you're younger, no.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which says to me, not a sex thing.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, if it was a sex thing, you think they definitely want younger. At 70 years old, they probably definitely want younger.
Early 60s.
something, yeah. But I mean, okay,
mid 50s even.
Yeah.
So we have no idea how much younger this means.
Yeah, I think.
But also, it's like, okay, so then we triple back to you need help around you actually need help around the house. And you want another 70-year-old man, best case scenario, what only has tennis elbow,
what if we both couldn't reach the top shelf anymore?
Right. Right. It's like, it's the blind leading the blind here, where you show up and it's like, oh, well, yeah, I don't really do nail stuff anymore. Oh, me neither. Well, do you like people?
Well, you want to give up?
You want to go back? You want to go to the yard? Maybe there's sticks you can pick up.
Yeah.
I don't really trust sticks. All right. So, and then it says $15 an hour. Again, this is where it's like, well, this can't be sex because they're saying $15 an hour is possible.
Yes, possible.
And it's like, if this was a sex thing, they'd be more cryptic about the payment. They would just be like, pay good for good stuff.
Right.
Pay good for liking people, real good. So, and like when you say same age works better, you mean 70 on the nose? Right. Like, again, I got no specificity. I can only assume that you really want like within a 5 year,
right.
65 to 75. Okay, obviously we can't do this, but if you were old, I think that things change. Let's imagine you're old and actually retired, which we probably will never experience. But let's imagine today we're old and we're retired. Maybe you see this post and you're like, better going on. Let's see what this guy's all about.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, because I think that it would be so hard to meet someone at that age that I got along. I mean, it might be one of those things where
or really easy to meet someone that age that you get along with.
I don't know, man. At 70 years old, how easy is it to find another 70-year-old?
That's what I mean.
Period.
So long as I had a grandpa who he checked himself into like a assisted living facility. Like, thank God, he was like, yeah, this is a good idea, and he did it like kind of on time, which in old people land is like actually kind of early, and and he was like, the craziest thing about the inmates is what he called himself and them, even though he was a volunteer, and I guess everybody technically was. He was like, you have to talk to somebody for like 4 or 5 minutes before you can figure out whether they got it or not, like their brain.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like, because anybody can hold a conversation for 5 minutes, of like, nice weather we're having today, or like, were you in the war,
Right.
But like after 4 or 5 minutes, that's when the conversation starts to loop back on itself, right? Or springboard, into the thing that they're always on, which is like the way that the Magnolias stole their baby, or something. So what I'm saying is, if you find, I know 70 is not quite it. It's more like 80, but it might be more like, hey, you wrote a post. There was some punctuation, not any major spelling errors aside from passable. So we might get along, we hate all these new whippersnappers, and that's all we need to bond over.
Yeah. I was going to say, this might be one of those old people that makes it all the way through to the other side of like, you get old people and then they get all like bitter and angry about the world or whatever, because it's like it went on without them,
Yeah.
And but then you get like those other people that go past that point and they're all like, and they're kind of like, no, you like, life is precious or whatever, So
and I don't have to do shit for the next 5 years. Like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, he might be one of those guys. And
yeah, that's true. It could be chill.
Those, he could be like really
could be
cool.
A good hang.
I mean, like, please no drunks. Like
that's
Also, just exclamation point in the middle of nowhere. Super looks like a boner.
General help around the house. Whoa!
Swing.
So hot. Want to touch the hiney. Different movie, but I felt like irrelevant. Yeah. So I mean, like, I think I'd be old and afraid, truthfully. I think but maybe this is worth it. I mean, I can't on good conscience say this is worth a try. I really tried. No, you seem weird. I don't think so, pal. I'll see you at the mall. We'll both walk together, whatever.
Yeah, those 6 a.m. mall walks.
I'll run into you, and if we're gonna run into each other, we'll run into each other in the right space rather than this weird Craigslist post.
Yeah, I'm out too. I feel like, well, I mean, obviously I'm out. I'm not 70, but I mean, like, I'm out. It's just one of those things where I'm gonna go, I got a weird feeling about this, and then I get there and I go, damn it, I knew it. Like, I shouldn't have fucking,
I knew he wasn't gonna have pants on the second I walk in the door, and just like a belt, a tool belt with just a hammer on the side.
Yeah. Why do you have more than one bow and arrow here? What's going on?
And there's holes in every wall.
Right. You miss a lot.
Okay, and I'm sorry, and now I have to go into a story because this story recently came up. Speaking of missing and hammers and bows and arrows, I lived a very short story, lived in this downstairs apartment in college, when we first moved in, the people who lived above us were fucking insane. They were replaced by a band, and we were like, oh, thank God. They would play music at like 2 or 3 in the morning. That's how grateful we were for these other people to be gone.
You're like, thank God the Chili Peppers moved in.
Thank fucking God. Just all bass. It's only Flea practicing. By the way, have you listened to the new album?
No, is it any good?
It's pretty good. It's a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much you would want it to be. I will say I listened to it the first time. I was like, I don't know. And then I've been like doing like, like computer like work stuff to it and been like, all right, I'm having a pretty good time.
Really? I'll check it out.
I mean, John Frusciante's back. How bad could it go?
Right. Sure.
How bad could it possibly go? It went pretty good. I mean, I would say best album since Stadium Arcadium.
Really? Well, I've listened to anything since Stadium.
Well, there's 2, I think, since Stadium Arcadium, and both of them I gave a 1 to 3 listens through, and was like, I'm okay,
Yeah, I'm out.
And this one I've given it more than 3 listens.
Right.
So anyway, the Red Hot Chili Peppers did move in without John Frusciante, so he was off doing heroin. But anyway, these motherfucking dudes who lived above us, my friend. Who I was living with, he came up like one morning and was like, I don't know what the fuck was going on upstairs, but it sounded like they were like just literally throwing shit on the floor. Like I have no fucking idea. They're moving out, and he overhears them like a couple days later, and they were like, complaining about how they didn't get their deposit back because because they were playing hammer darts.
Oh, fuck.
Against the wall. They apparently had like drawn or whatever, like a target on the wall and then thrown a fucking hammer at the wall. And then of course the hammer fell on the ground. And these are all above my fucking roommate's not sleeping body. So anyway, this guy plays hammer darts, right?
Got it.
Totally possible. Okay. So post number 2 is from our first post. I don't really remember where it's from. It was Sacramento, so it could be anybody. This next post we didn't even pull up. We kind of kept it to our little selfies from our most recent episode with Kyle Real. It's from the Atlanta Craigslists, and I feel like that's relevant in my opinion for this post. The title is "Actors Needed for Music Video." Seems innocuous. There is a picture for the ad, and it looks kind of like, I don't know, template-y. Like I doubt they made this up, but it says video casting call, and then it gives the dates, on Saturday and where, whatever. And then there's some text inside this little image, but honestly, I think it's the same as the text in the post. So we're just going to read the text in the post. And the text in the post says, looking for 5 or more, 5 or more white males to be in a music video on Saturday, March 19th at 1 p.m. For more details, you can contact @Flow349 on Instagram /Twitter. And then the post, that's the end of the post. The pay compensation box says, $0. No pay. Not $1. That's the post.
Yeah. I know a prank when I see one. Right?
This sure feels like one. If you're in Atlanta and there is a music video, and we were talking about zombie rock last time. If you don't specify the genre in Atlanta, I'm gonna guess this is hip hop or hip hop adjacent, right?
Right.
And they want 5 white dudes. Like, you are gonna show up and you're gonna get owned for like 6 hours.
Right. Yeah.
We need 5 white guys just to look like the dorkiest fucking piece of shit dorks.
Yeah.
So that we can just wrap around them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just be like, look at this fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And you just have to be like, hey, can you act surprised that we're talking shit on you?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I am very surprised.
Can we get a close up of you stepping in dog shit?
Yeah, you're just gonna get owned. Now, I do think if we so desire, we could take a quick look at this person, Flow349 on Instagram, because that could help with Flow 349 account. Sure looks hip hoppy. Yeah, there's a black dude. So again, Flo, this guy Flo, he's about to just fucking own the shit out of you.
There's a picture of him. Yeah. There's a picture of him driving his car. I think he's looking for corny white guys to get. Yeah, he's like pulling up to a Barnes and Noble, like looking for some white guys.
Yeah, this guy just left the Crate and Barrel parking lot, and he just went one strip mall over.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, hold on a second. Did these guys have pocket protectors on them?" Or,
right. Yeah.
Or what? There's another picture of him, and he's on a stairs to probably a fancy hotel.
Yeah, he broke into someone's prom or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's probably just showing up to see a bunch of white kids fucking prom. And he's just like, I'm looking for a real Dexter type in here. Yeah. I need 5 of you for free.
Yeah, I need the squarest motherfuckers you got.
Yeah. We got another picture. He's fucking styling on it. Pretty killer hoodie as far as I'm concerned. Nice multicolors, great
Crayola hoodie.
Yeah, real Crayola colors.
Like he's maybe go down the creek to find some like fishing white guys.
Oh yeah,
those guys,
Yeah, he is outdoors on some grass, and he's gonna walk down to the creek, because that's how they're gonna pronounce it. And he's just going to be like, hey, which one of you guys are experts on duck calls,
Right.
And he's going to go, you and you get in this little, I don't know, Chevy Suburban or whatever.
Yeah. Is anybody here's favorite band is Wings?
Wings. Is that Paul McCartney's band?
That's Paul McCartney's band.
Yeah. You guys, which one of you guys' favorite Christmas song is Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time? Was that Wings or is that just Paul McCartney?
I think it might be just Paul McCartney. I don't know.
Man. Oh, Wings, man. And, man, nobody talks enough really about how impossible really Paul McCartney you were in the Beatles, man, you were in the Beatles, and he was in his 20s or something when they broke up.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what am I gonna do now? It's tough. Again, is it not tough? No, it's not that tough. He was in the Beatles.
He should have just switched up his position totally. Like he shouldn't have tried, it's like you look at Dave Grohl. In Nirvana, just totally switch up where you are in the lineup.
Yeah, he should have played the fucking drums for a hardcore band. Well, it's also part of the problem, I think, was the era. I'd say Dave Grohl is probably one of the exceptions because he was unknown to known, right? Hard to go unknown. Harder to go known to unknown. Right. But you could definitely make it happen, especially if you're if you switch to drummer, dude, you're way in the back.
Yeah. What about, or you could start over. What about the lead singer of Blur is also the guy in the Gorillaz?
Sure. That's fair, but the
that.
Gorillaz don't really. They don't make a habit of showing their face.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Known to unknown.
Okay, you're right. You literally you're right. You just don't say everywhere you go, I'm Paul McCartney, And I would guess that is hard to do once you're Paul McCartney.
He's like, oh, I'm Paul McCartney. And then it's just a beat of quiet where you're forcing me to remember where you're from. Oh, the Beatles. He's like, damn it.
From Wings? This guy gets it. You're right. He could have just acted. He could have gone on to Broadway or something. He could have done what's it, that guy from Harry Potter? Harry
Nigel. Sorry.
Yeah, Nigel Thornberry.
Nigel Thornberry.
Which, speaking of Tim Curry, a lot of voice acting. That was Nigel
Thornberry.
That
is Tim. Oh wow.
Wow. I had to write full circle. I had to write a bunch of clickbait articles for a very short period of time. And I got, when you start writing freelance clickbait articles, you get the worst ones. And so I did almost exclusively, here is your character of this, intellectual property based off of your zodiac sign.
Okay.
So I did here's your Star Wars character based off your zodiac sign. People randomly found me on Facebook to refute me saying that Chewbacca is a Taurus. Swear to fucking God. And I had to be because I know that my vibe is a little bit combative on this podcast, but I try super hard to be nice to people on the internet because I think that it's a good idea. And so I had to be thank you because really and truly, like if you found me on the internet because you read an article and you felt weird about the fact that I called Yoda an Aquarius, like
right,
you've done some fucking homework, so like thanks for reading and coming to talk to me. So anyway, I did one, but I was able to pitch one that was just, here's your Tim Curry character based off your zodiac sign. So I got to review his whole career. Fucking Muppet Treasure Island as Long John Silver, ton of voice work. Yes, Nigel Thornberry.
Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2 absolutely was on the list for sure. I don't remember what I signed anybody because I don't give a shit.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, the Frankenfurter or whatever. Dr. Frankenfurter. Yes. So, and I also put in the deep cut, in my opinion, but his character that he plays in Congo, he's he's like,
I remember Congo. I don't remember his character.
He's like he's like, I think he's the bad guy. I think he's like the sleazy, like money grubbing kind of dude. And and there's like in my opinion, an incredible line where he's eating like this person, like cake or whatever. This dude goes like, stop eating my sesame cake. And he just has to put it down. He's like this weird, like goofy villain in Congo. Okay. It's like someone was trying to make Jurassic Park and they were like, okay, remember how the lawyer got bit off that toilet? What if he was the main bad guy? And also a bit of a klutz,
I can't remember who I was talking. I was talking to somebody recently about horror. If anyone follows the podcast, they know I'm a big horror guy. But I was talking about how people write off a lot of movies because there's no way that that's horror. But I think that horror in and of itself has a bunch of different subgenres. And I think I would classify Jurassic Park as like adventure horror.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. It's now we're talking about Jurassic Park. So I fucking
we'll get back to
this.
We'll get back to this black guy that wants to beat up a bunch of white guys.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. All you got to do is show up in Realtree camo. And he's like, these fucking guys get it. They understood the assignment. Jurassic Park, fucking amazing. And it's so sad that the franchise is what it is, because every movie after Jurassic Park has to be a pure monster movie. And the thing that's so great about Jurassic Park is it gets to transition into a monster movie.
Yeah. I think, like I said, it's adventure horror. And
because unlike a traditional monster movie, the beginning of the monster movie is, monsters may not be real. And by the end of Jurassic Park, it's like, no, monsters are real and it's our fault.
Yeah, exactly. I think just to cover my bases, other adventure horror movies, just in case someone's like, you just made that. It's like Jaws, I would say, is an adventure horror. For a darker one, I would say the movie The Descent.
I've also seen The Descent.
Yeah, but the girl backpacking one. Yeah, going into the cave.
Well, here's the thing. I don't like scary movies as much, but boy, if 90% of the movie is outside, I'm in. Like we got some nice views of the Cape Cod,
Yeah,
I mean, Jaws is a goddamn classic. So,
but I guess maybe to some extent, maybe on the Descent vein, like Blair Witch Project a little bit.
Also seen Blair Witch Project. I would agree with you. I mean, it's
a bit of an adventure horror.
It is a little more pure horror.
But that's like The Descent. The Descent leans into horror so hard, whereas like Jaws, Jaws and Jurassic Park never stop feeling grand. I feel like, as they're like this huge scopes. Yeah. So
okay, so these white guys. There's a world where I would do this if there was any amount of pay.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I would, if it was like $100, I'd be like, dude, you can clown on me. I don't give a shit. Like fucking go for it. Like, look at me. I know, and it could be fun. You could meet some great folks. And that's what I would say. Hi folks, and they'd be like, oh, we're getting this guy in. He said folks in the first 10 minutes,
Yeah. He walked up and said, howdy, he's in.
Howdy, partner. So yeah, obviously no, I'm not going to do this. And I do think you got to come with your friends. If you're going to do it, it says 5 or more.
Oh yeah. I'm not showing up with 4 other random white dudes.
You got to show up with your boys. You got to bring the LaCroix at the minimum, if not some Trulies, you got to show up though. You have to lean in white as hard as you possibly can.
Right.
When you show up, you got to have some fucking Truly hard seltzers, right? You got to have some skinny ass jeans,
show up with a checkbook.
Checkbook. What do you need? I know a guy at the bank. So yeah, like for me, no. But if you're gonna do it, lean in hard and have a good time. Nick.
No way. No, I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want nothing to do. I'm not gonna fucking clown me. All right. And then just I get there and then you go like, I'm not even sure if you are white. I don't know what you are.
Oh man, that's racially ambiguous. They're gonna harp on for 6 hours,
Yeah, just like so I'm like, no, yeah, I know. Like this voice implies one thing, but then like you kind of look at me in the sun for a for a few hours. You're like, actually, I don't know. I don't know about this dude.
yeah, for sure. Well,
skin changes color fast,
and then eventually they just settle on like, well, I bet you this guy knows a lot of white dudes.
Yeah. He's got a lot of white guys in his.
We can settle on this. This guy fucking probably knows. Go get him, and then you become like their lackey, like you're their PA for the day.
Right. I'm the go-between.
You're handing them water bottles and stuff like Evian, and that's not good. So, fuck that place. Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, did you know that you can text this podcast? The number is 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. We take your side, by the way. That's an automatic position. If you text us, we're on your side.
Yeah, I don't give a damn about your boss. You think I'm going to protect that guy? I hate that guy. I hate that guy. I got your back. We got your back here.
Absolutely. If we're like this is like a weirdo, like sleazy lawyer commercial. I mean, we're on your side to a point,
I'm wearing a goofy suit right now.
I'm wearing a brown tie. Couldn't tell you why. If you need to talk shit about something, like we're your shit talking team. All you gotta do is text 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. We're on your side. Ooh, and we're back, baby. So we got some Reddit posts. So this is for those who are new to this situation. I've been browsing some r/hate my job, r/jobs, r/ like anti-work and stuff like that. And people run into some troubles, right? It's not like Northern Ireland troubles,
right.
People run into some troubles. And so we're here to help them out. We're completely unsolicited in a segment we like to call Chasing on the internet for too long. Yes.
Yeah. Nick? Well, they'll say, they're like reaching into the void a little bit by posting this stuff. So
and the void is here for you,
Yeah.
We're like, if you're looking into a black hole in Interstellar, there's, like maybe a little like glimmer of light in there. Like, what's going on? We're that glimmer of light, and it doesn't mean that we're safe or good. Stay away from the black hole, but why not? If you're, if you are that close, why not just give it a little look-see, Okay. So, we're going to take a look at one or two here. Number one, the title is, Am I Being Exploited? Excellent question. And here, before we get into anything, probably, yeah. Right. Like if you have to ask the question, am I being exploited? Like, yeah.
What would be the scenario to that we go, oh, no, you're not.
Oh, you're definitely not. Like, and again, that's partly, like the POV of this podcast, where if someone writes in and like, I work at Starbucks, it's my first job ever, and I get paid minimum wage. Am I being exploited? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the 100%. Question is, to what degree are you being exploited? And in this case, like, we'll find out. In the case of like a Starbucks worker, like, you're getting paid minimum wage for a company that makes a lot more fucking money than you. So in the end, yes, and they're relying on your very cheap labor, and they're relying on the turnover of that cheap labor to make a lot of money. So here we go. Am I being exploited? I operated a food truck. I worked for the owner of the truck. All right.
Okay.
I did all of the work on a day-to-day basis. I did all the ordering, all the food prep, all the cooking, all the cleaning, everything. And that's when this person said, when they started with, I worked for the owner of the truck, I was like, okay, you showed up, you served food, you cooked, you know what I mean? But this sounds like pretty comprehensive, right? Like you've done everything. The owner of this truck, my boss, thanks for clarifying, only shows up to take money out of the cash box and feign an interest in whatever my current gripe of the day is. At least they're doing that, at least they're feigning an interest. I'm curious to see what they're like, what's their position? Are they leaning on something when you're talking? They're looking at their phone. Are they like,
are they talking to you through a yawn?
Or are they just like licking their dollars, like
Mr. Krabs about it.
Or they're like laying out the money on the ground so they can roll in it. Oh yeah. Oh, the customers are mean. Oh. So, I'd be curious. The owner of this truck, my boss, only shows up to take money and pay interest, right? I often have issues with faulty equipment and am constantly in that with nothing more than a shoulder shrug until I have to find a cost-free workaround for these problems. And so far, this doesn't sound like awesome. Pretty much every restaurant ever. I mean, I think we talked about this first podcast with Gabby Lamb about how juice bars have one piece of fucking equipment.
Right. Yeah. That one dingy, the juice bar blender they use. When you had a ceiling fan for too long and it's whoosh, it's looks like it's gonna fucking come off, Yeah,
it's from the base. It doesn't. It's just wagga. Literally, the fans don't provide the breeze anymore. It's the base swirling around the room.
And the blade kind of hitting the same spot on the ceiling every time it comes back around.
Yeah. And until it wears a groove in, you're gonna hear that.
Like the white of the ceiling kind of coming down on you.
Yeah, what's got the popcorn is rubbing off the popcorn. That's the blender that most. But yeah, it's they only have one type of equipment to maintain or manage as a juice bar, and they still won't order new shit.
Refuse.
Just won't fucking do it. We're just
you show me you have 7.5 fingers left, and I will order you a new juice bar.
Yeah, juice. And every time you bring it up, they're like, they act like you have taken 100 of these, blenders, and you've tied it to them and asked them to drag it down the street. You know?
I gotta go onto Amazon. Oh God, let's say $30.
Yeah, because also you could just get anyway. It's crazy. So this is not a unique problem. It is pervasive, right? And it is bad that you are dealing with it. What it seems to be alone, right? Instead of at least being able to lean on somebody else and be like, these fucking fucks, right? Anyway. And the next paragraph, and I do appreciate the breakup here. When he contacted me about working together last year, interesting that this person was contacted by this person, by the boss. We had a brief chat about what the work involved. Everything seemed fine. When we arrived at the subject of wages, he proceeded to lead with, I was thinking minimum wage. No fucking surprise. To which I laughed and suggested something slightly higher. And there's a bunch of British symbols. I think 10 pounds an hour.
Is that? Oh, I thought that was a British person cussing in text.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Right, wait, man. Holy governor, we can't do that. That's a little New Zealand. These here blokes. I'm so sorry if you listen to this podcast and you live in England, but thank you for listening. So there's a pound symbol. 10 pounds per hour is my guess. It's the most, and then they continue. It's the most I've ever earned. So they suggested something slightly higher. So my guess is they got that wage. Right? If I suggest something higher, they laughed at them and said, fuck you, I want this. Which, good for you. Last year went very well for the truck's finances. I'm aware of how much money the truck made solely from my labor. Right? And I feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick. I would generate roughly 1,000 blimeys, or euros or pounds. I'm guessing pounds.
1,000 blimeys.
1,000
blimeys. We're half a step behind on that, but
1,000 hay pennies. 1,000 catch a falling star and put it in your pocket. Never let it get away. Anyway, I would generate. Oh man, I'm not trying to make fun of you, but that's fun. Okay, I would generate roughly $1,000 profit a day, and we were open 6 days a week. Let's just say $1,000, 1,000 pounds, whatever. Open 6 days a week, so it's $6,000 a week, right? My boss had mentioned more than once he wanted to go into business together during last season. However, since then he hasn't mentioned anything. Yeah, no shit on that one.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty confident that he isn't going to offer to pay me a higher wage off his own back. You are also correct.
Yeah, so you're going up to your boss. You're like, please, sir, can I have some more?
Please, sir, a splash of coin.
You made so many blimeys, sir.
You make so many blimeys, my lord. Spare a pence for a boy. 6 pence, none the richer. Oh boy. Mind the gap we do. Okay, we
take 2 tubes to get here, sir.
2 tubes. For a poor sea urchin as myself, a sea urchin, street urchin as myself, or from the sea. So we are due to reopen in the next few weeks, and I'm wondering whether it's just me being a doomer. Nope. Or does the guy really just see me as a cog he can use to get rich? Has anyone had a similar experience? ? And that's the end of the question post on Reddit / hate my job. So has anyone had a similar experience? Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yes, friend. Yes.
We've been there, my guy.
We've been there. And I got a few questions, none of which we're really gonna be able to like fully answer, but like you're saying that this is seasonal. It seems like you're saying season, right? Last season, this season, whatever season. My question is, what you got going on in between the seasons? Can you just not fuck with this person anymore? Right. Right? Or is the money slightly better, right? Because this person just said it's the most I've ever earned, which 10 blimeys an hour, no idea what that means, in the euro or in euros or in subways, or in blimpies. So I don't know what a blimey is to a blimpie, but again,
what's a blimey to a blimpie?
What is a blimey to a blimpie then? Isn't it? It's the most, but they say it's the most I've ever earned. So again, like they're maybe entertaining this again because, well, it was the most I've ever earned, and so, maybe they're willing to endure another season of it because it's more that they would get at their regular job they have now. Like they'll just drop hours, to like get this, which is like, totally fine. If you are getting slightly more knowing you're being exploited, right?
Right.
But you're just like, well, it fucking sucks, but here we are. Now I will say that, I'm confused as to what the communication situation is with this person, because you start by saying when he contacted me about last year, and now you're saying that the next year's coming up, right? Like we're due to reopen, and you keep saying we, right? And I feel like, what do you mean? Right? Like, and now I understand when you're in an ultra small business of like that size, you do end up saying we, like in corporate world, people start saying we, and I'm like, dude, you're a fucking narc.
Yeah.
like shut up. Like there is no we, like, oh, you work for, like you work at, continue the analogy, corporate at Starbucks. And you're like, well, we did pretty good this year. It's like, did we?
Yeah. I'm barely scraping by. What are you talking about?
The entity do well and you work corporate and maybe you did all right. But like, again, the royal we needs to fucking take a long pause. Anyway, we're due to, so it sounds to me like you're still in communication with this person, like the person probably has texted you and been like, hey, you still good to work this season? Right. Cause they don't want to work for a new person. And again, you are right that he's not going to offer to pay me a higher wage off his own back. So like, and then again, yes, this guy sees you as a cog so he can use it to get rich, but it seems to me like you might have this person by the nuts a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it appears that you have a rapport. It appears that you're already talking about next season. So this person is not, for instance, you say, due to open in a few weeks. What I'm saying is, how quickly can this person reliably get a new person?
Right.
My guess is it is prohibitively hard. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's quite easy, right? In the like grand scheme of things. You put up a fucking post.
You may have this person on the bullocks.
That's when you might have him right by the bullocks. God save the queen, but like, so what I'm saying is like, if it's due to open in 3 weeks, you're kind of in the middle of communicating with this person. Why not go for more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if it was 10 Blimeys an hour last summer, go for 15.
15 Blimeys.
Ask for 15 Blimeys, get talked down to 12.
I would say 12. You end up with 12 Blimeys if you do that.
And it's, again, it's still the most you've ever earned. Now,
it's the most Blimeys you've ever made.
It's the most bollocks. It's, it's so many Blimeys, you know.
Think of all the crisps you can buy with that.
Think of all the fish and chips and stouts or like
maybe go down, get a point.
You fancy a point,
right? How many pints can you fancy with an extra 2 Blimeys an hour? Huh?
I mean, for real. So what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you're definitely being exploited, right? But can you be less exploited in a way that benefits you? That's really this is a tiny little food truck, but that's the way that jobs work from here until eternity. Right? It's just like, yeah, you're definitely like, someone's definitely kind of fucking you over a little bit. The question is, can you reduce the fuckery by an amount that benefits you? And I would say the answer is, for this person, maybe.
Yeah, worth a shot.
And again,
worth the swing of the old cricket bat.
It's worth the swing of the old cricket bat. It's worth it. At the very least, you might as well talk to your flatmate about it.
Right. He's gonna hear this, and then he's gonna be like, "These guys had some decent advice, but fuck them."
Fuck these blokes. Fuck these American
blimey blooming blokes. What they are.
Let's put another shrimp on the Barbie. So
he's gonna call us fat Americans, even though neither of us are fat.
Yeah, well, I mean, might as well. We're statistically.
We are pretty fat statistically.
So, again, Curran or whatever your name is. I really I hope that you can leverage something better. And yes, you're being exploited.
Yeah, dude, get the fuck out of there.
And also, get the fuck out of there. See if you can get. But again, you gotta buy.
Go to another food truck and just ask. Ask someone another food truck. That's right. You go to any other food truck, because my guess is I hope you're not a food truck that's just completely in a desert of other food establishments. Like, hopefully you're like maybe like a little food truck roundup or something. Just like walk to the poutine, one, and be like, hey, you guys hiring? I can see there's one of you. Go to just there's got to be a bunch around whatever grocery store, the Gap or whatever it's called. Or
not to say that you like want to do this, but like it seems to me like everything about this food truck. You say you do the ordering, food prep, cooking, cleaning.
Yeah,
like it seems to me like if you wanted to open your own food truck, I'm not saying you have the finances to do that, but like this is another opportunity. Like there are other ways to siphon more for you out of this.
Yeah, you at least know how to let the air out of the tires of this food truck, so you can't get around. You can sabotage this food
and
truck.
Push it real gently down the hill towards old Big Ben or whatever.
Yeah.
And right, drop it in the Thames. England, bro.
England, yeah, dude. Man, what you got to do is you got to go right up to your boss, right? You start taking off your glove one finger at a time, and you slap that
and you say, you old callywhopper.
Yes, he said, I'll see you at noon, like at high noon, a gentleman's duel.
You wear one of those real big collars.
Giant collar, like gigantic, like puffy white wig,
and just fucking so many frills.
Dude, you look like the Quaker Oats guy. You know,
absolutely.
I guess that's how you're still dressing.
I dare say.
Fucking
I challenge you to a duel, and you just shoot one of those like liquid, like hot, like wet cheese things at him.
Yeah, do you come out? You show up in your best belt buckle shoes, dog. Come on.
Black, polished. You can see the Queen's face in them if you tried.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's or you get one of those guards with those funny hats, those big tall hats, and you just say, "There he is, officer." The redcoats are coming.
Yeah, and if he tells you, "Unhand me," you talk like that. I don't know. I just do whatever you think Frasier would do.
I would agree with that. But what I'm saying, there's plenty of ways to like take something away for you. Now, again, I would never want to start my own fucking food truck. So maybe you don't want to do that, in which case, like, again, get the fuck out. Okay. Post number 2. Also not super short. The title of this one is recently hired, and everyone in my department immediately quit.
Oh my God. The story of the smelliest new hire.
Everybody, I did not know that everybody hates me until today. Somehow I made it through the whole interview process. Nobody mentioned it.
They all walked out as soon as I walked in. Then they turned off the lights and locked me in.
And they said, stinky boy, go away. So it's not that they quit so much as they quit me. And I'm typing this on my phone and my battery is at 2%. Please, somebody help. I'm in a closet somewhere in Iowa? ? Anyway, so the text begins. I was hired as an engineering project manager for a very small company exactly 1 month ago. So this is a little white collar situation we got going on here. I was supposed to be the fourth member of the department. In the month since I started, all 3 project managers have quit. That doesn't sound good. The first to leave was with the company 4 years. Woo! The other 2 have been there a year, and the last girl is working out her 2 weeks now. I love that this person is actually typing this on like in a closet. I'm just like, they're outside. I think they're quitting right now. Like I've a little bit of a desperation there of like, I think like good for you. Your alarm bells are very well attuned.
Spidey sense is working.
Just, like off we go. And then the next thing they say is, I'm nervous about what this means for me. Yeah, no shit. I'm not crazy about the idea of taking on more workload. Woo, buddy. You are about to be working more. As I feel I'm being underpaid. I'm located in the U.S. Mid-South, and my salary is $44K. So $44K a year for a white collar job. You're definitely in the mid-range of the Mid-South here. This person isn't getting like paid 6 figures, and like depending on where you live, 44K still may not get you that far. This is my first job out of school. Oh, there we go. And I took it knowing it will look excellent on my resume. All right. Where we have a clear alignment of purpose. Also, I mean, it really feels like we're like every paragraph is like a shovel that gets bigger. You know what I mean? It's not, it's not going deeper. Like first was just like a spade, like gardening. Now we got a regular shovel. Now we got like a fucking snow shovel. Also, most of the training requires tribal knowledge. I assume by tribal, they mean like inside baseball kind of stuff.
Right.
And I'm concerned that I'll be severely set back with my progress if there's no one left to teach me. Yeah, bro. I'm nowhere near fully trained, and I will be left with one knowledgeable manager as a resource. No one else knows what is going on. Needless to say, we're going to power through to the end of the post. Needless to say, it's pretty disheartening to watch everyone immediately leave, and it's definitely impacting my morale. Not to mention, my training schedule went out the window on week 2, which has been chaotic to say the least. Boop. End of post.
End of post. Okay. Well, I mean, there's a couple different like schools of thought I think you can have for this.
Sure.
Like, okay, you immediately have leverage if you're the only one left. Like
That's
in
true.
terms of like,
That's
like,
true.
like if
true.
you're all they have, no amount of money is worth more than
all they have.
Well, I was gonna say no amount of money is worth more than just being outwardly desired. If they want you there, then you can get stuff that's like going to work for you where the money's not working.
That's very true. I mean, speaking of someone having someone by the cojones, like, this is definitely possible where, you could say like, hey, I want to raise right now, or I'm quitting.
Yeah.
Like you could say that.
Right.
The bummer is, actually, I was going to say, here's what I was going to say, and I'm going to backpedal on it immediately. The bummer is if they say no, then you have to quit. Not true. You just stay and you're just like, well, fuck, oops.
Yeah.
I'm not going to quit. But you could be, but like, as far as calling your bluff, it's just like, well, you're in the exact same position you were in before. Only they hate you, but it's clear that they already do. I mean, not saying they hate you specifically, but like, you know, and are they going to fire you? That would be the one potential. I would say no.
Yeah. And do what? And do what if everyone else is gone? The last person going to fire him. I mean, like they might fire you, but not before they bring on 2 or 3 other people to replace the ones that are gone.
2. It's got to be 2.
And if that's the case, they probably won't want to fire you as much because you won't be.
You would have a minimum 6 months, right? Which is plenty of time to find another job.
I think, and it's like, and if you've just got this job for your resume, fucking stick it out till you think it's been good enough on your resume. I would say. Which
honestly, speaking of 6 months, is probably like, it doesn't even have to be a full fucking year.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, if you've got like a resume job where it's probably just, it's literally when this person says X on my resume, if they just left school, what they mean is it looks on my resume.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like, oh, I guess this person looks like they want to work in tech or I don't know, some kind of like software or something because they say project manager.
I don't know much about white collar jobs. Like I know, but I have learned from some of my smarter friends that it does take a while to get a good job. Like for me, like I can make sandwiches anywhere I go. Like it's not hard for me to find another job as a barista or whatever.
No, you're right. Like culturally, there is a very wide range in like office jobs.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say,
go ahead.
I was just say real quick. So it's like, it might take you a couple months to find a new job. Stick this out for 3 months. My advice is just the short of it. Stick this out for 3 months, make the job what you want it to be the best you can. Just do the work that you think needs to get done. Just kind of create your own position. They don't, what the fuck are they going to, you like, I'm also in charge of fucking providing oranges because I want oranges in the office. You know, it's like, so it's like, whatever, you just do it. And then do that for 3 months, hardcore, stick it out, get the chops you're going to need. They're going to help you later on. And then after that 3 month mark, start really looking for another gig.
I agree.
And I think
hold on for 3 months and look for 3 months.
Yeah. And I think at that point, whether by hook or by crook, whether you stay here or you find something else, the stars will align for you.
Oh, and the other thing that, you know, working, I don't know what your financial situation is, but if you're just out of school, you're working 6 months, right? You will have 6 months worth of money, right? So like also live your life right now a little, I'm not going to say lean. I'm just saying smart, you know, like just be like, I know I might in 6 months just be like, nah, this is not happening. I don't have anything lined up. Right. So you might want to have a little like cash saved or like a plan involved of like, you know, like what's going on with my lease, you know, like shit like that. Or you don't have a lease, which will be even fucking better. Right.
You're right.
But also like if you have student loans coming, like, no, you could, no, you don't right now because no one's paying student loans. But even if for some reason student loans start back up during that time, like you can for sure you can defer for like, again, you're trying to get a job. Like you're not going to be in big trubs. You absolutely actually have this in hand. It seems now it's very bad right now. You know, like, don't get me wrong. This fucking rings real true for a job that I had actually here in LA. I work for this fucking tour company. And like, I moved up to like the GM, like the manager position, like went from just like basically dumb shit tour guide to, and I'd already been a manager of a tour company before, but anyway, I got it and I was like, oh no, you know, like, and I could have and should have known, but I just needed the money. Like I fucking needed the money way more than being a regular tour guide. And so it's just like, well, I think I held it out from like May to, I think I made it a summer. Like I went from like May to August, June, July, August. Fuck, was it only 3 months? That's insane. Maybe it was 4 months. Anyway, it was a fucking intense fucking summer. But I knew, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to stay here. Right. So I just kind of like figured that out as things were going. I was working like fucking 11-hour days. Like, I get it, dude. Like you're fucked. You're for sure fucked. And you know, you're fucked, but that's the good thing. Right. Because the worst case scenario would be you just got fucked and you're just like, I think this will work. You know what I mean? And it's like, nah, dude, it ain't working. You already posting on Reddit about it. you know, like you're already screwed. And as far as like, you may not get skills out of this. The only thing you might get is just the resume bullet point. Right. But that's okay. Like, that's fine. Because then you said like, oh, no one has any idea what the fuck's going on at this company. You can find another company where it's basically the same thing, but better pay, right? Where it's just like, yeah, no one still knows what the fuck's going on. Like, that's a lot of tech companies, dude. Like, I haven't worked in tech, but that is the one thing that I know about startups and tech stuff, like, which it sounds to me like you're in that world, is like, they move so fast that like you show up and it's like, oh, like, where's the key to this thing? It's like, oh, no, that person quit like 10 years ago or like 10 months ago, you know, and we've got
his like bony hand still attached to that key.
Yeah, we've severed his limb and we just like jiggle real hard on his like humerus bone to really get that printer paper out of there. So again, like, I actually think that you're doing good. You're doing super bad, but what I'm saying is you're doing good because you've clearly identified you're in a big problem. Like, you're for sure being underpaid, you know, so see if you can leverage that. But even if you can't, like, just hold the line for like 6 months tops, because there's no better time in the world right now than to look for another job. So you got it. You got this. I just want to give you like a little pep talk. You got it. You can do it. And that concludes Chase has been on Reddit for too long, or some other title we eventually come up with. And that's the pod, folks.
That's the pod, guys. We're back. We're here.
We're back, baby.
We're hanging out.
So we'll see you next week, usually. And thanks for listening. And, you know, again, like, if you're in a tough spot, fucking, we get it. We get it. That's this podcast's main thesis. We get it. We get it.
We got it.
But also, fuck this place.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you had a good time, don't forget to subscribe, rate the podcast, leave a review, 5 stars, 4 stars. You can give less stars, but don't do that. I mean, you can, but just text us. You know, it's 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. You can just let it out, you know. Get mean. We're here for you. Okay, that's it. Bye for now. Fuck this place.